law enforcement has one way of looking at and dealing with gangs because they have to. Most law enforcement people that I've dealt with most of my life understood that you just can't lock your way up out of this problem. It's not a lock your way up out, and for all of the 80s, for all of the late 70s, which is when I started at the Defender's Office, into the 80s, into the 90s, everybody kept talking about locking more people up. And now we're almost got 10,000 people on State Road. We have the highest incarceration rate in the city in this country, here in the city of Philadelphia. And if anybody can sit down and tell me that we have now demonstrated that by locking everybody up, that we have proved something in the long run, then you be the first one to convince me. And you can't convince even the chief of the police who is here. He and I both agree. We can't lock our way out of this. The previous police chief said the same thing. When I talked to Secretary Beard up at the state, the Commonwealth is going to build 4 more prisons. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to fill them, and we're going to be in the same situation we're in now. We're going to bankrupt ourselves trying to do something about this. It's not the answer. The answer has always been, to look at the conditions that create the environment and answer the question from that point of view, period. And how do we do it? That's always the rub. But unless we actually admit to ourselves that that's where we should be going, we just keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. So the issue really is, now we're in a quandary. We're caught. Everybody knows the government right now, we had to deal with $1 billion worth of problems. We can't run a deficit. You can't do this. So you got to cut your way. So now you're losing services. And then you got another $1 billion problem. Now you're losing more services. So at the very time, the critical time when we really need to be investing, we have no money to do it. No money to do it. So for those of us that are in government that recognize the problem, the question is, can we stop the hemorrhaging enough to allow some retooling of the money that we currently have in a way that allows us to build for the future, because we know that it's going to come back. That's the trick that we're in right now.